Welcome back to TPS. Take a look at the greatest athletes of all time, like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Tom Brady. They showed up big in the postseason and came through when their teams needed it the most. On the other end of the spectrum, we have those superstar athletes that can put up some eye-popping stats throughout the season, but when it comes to crunch time, they just never seem to show up. Here are the 12 best athletes right now who aren't clutch.
At TPS, we post videos every single day, so don't forget to click the subscribe button to subscribe. Then click the notification bell to be notified when we post a new video.
Number 12, AJ Green. Before injury sidelined him in 2018 and for all of 2019, AJ Green was among the NFL's most dominant and dynamic wide receivers. The perennial Pro Bowler recorded 6 1,000-yard seasons with Andy Dalton and the Cincinnati Bengals, leading them to the postseason in each of his first 5 seasons. Through his first 8 NFL seasons, Green averaged 14.8 yards per catch and 80.2 receiving yards per game. But when it comes to the postseason, Green just didn't shine through when the Bengals needed it the most. In 4 playoff games with the Bengals, Green only totaled 18 receptions for 232 yards and 1 touchdown. That amounts to 58 receiving yards per game, way below the 80.2 he averages in the regular season. All-time great wideouts never went quite in the postseason like AJ has, and unless Green changes that, he'll never be in their truly elite class. Number 11, Kevin Love. Injuries have slowed the Cleveland Cavaliers' big man in recent years, and the departure of LeBron James hasn't helped Love's declining production. The 5-time All-Star was traded to Cleveland in 2014, thus forming a new Big Three with LeBron and Kyrie Irving. The Cavaliers proceeded to reach the finals in each of the next 4 years, winning the NBA championship in 2016. But Love was widely criticized for his performances during those trips to the NBA Finals, all against the Golden State Warriors. That's because he simply didn't show up when his team needed him the most. Love consistently averaged around 17 points and double-digit rebounds per game during his first 4 years with the Cavaliers. The playoffs have been a completely different story, however. From the 2015 to 2018 postseason, Love only averaged 15.3 points per game, shooting a woeful 40.3% from the field. Even in the Cavaliers' 2016 NBA Finals victory over the Warriors, Love barely showed up. He averaged just 8.5 points per game, fifth among all Cavaliers with only 6.8 rebounds per game. His field goal percentage was an atrocious 36.2. At least Irving and LeBron were around to save the day because it certainly wasn't Love who led Cleveland to its first professional sports championship in forever. Number 10, Kirk Cousins. The 2-time Pro Bowl quarterback has been above average throughout his career. But when the stages get bigger and bigger, Cousins has been a complete underperformer. You can't blame him for scoring 0 playoff wins with the Washington Redskins, who are one of the most dysfunctional organizations in football. But the Vikings handed Cousins a 3-year, fully guaranteed $84 million deal in 2018 to take them to the Super Bowl. This was after they'd reached the 2017 NFC Championship game with career journeyman Case Keenum. While the Vikings have gone backwards with Cousins, not forward, they went 8-7-1 in the 2018 season, losing a Week 17 home game against the Chicago Bears team that was playing its backups. A year later, Cousins got many into the postseason, and they upset the New Orleans Saints in the wild card round, even though he entered that game with a horrid 6-30 record against teams with a winning record. However, the Vikings were manhandled by the San Francisco 49ers in the divisional round. Are the Vikings sure that Cousins has been worth all that money? 1 playoff win in 2 years? Don't forget that Keenum took them further in 1 season. Number 9, David Price. The lefty ace first broke into the majors as a full-time starter in 2009. David Price then enjoyed a phenomenal stretch run that saw him earn 5 All-Star selections in the 2012 AL Cy Young Award. And yet, despite remarkable consistency in the regular season, a completely different Price showed up in the postseason. For the longest time, he was a pure playoff choker. After Game 2 of the 2018 ALDS against the New York Yankees, Price owned a horrid 0-9 career postseason record as a starter. But sure enough, Price finally broke through by clinching the Red Sox the 2018 AL pennant after they defeated the defending champion Houston Astros in Game 5 of the ALCS. And he was on the mound for Games 2 and 5 of the World Series against the Los Angeles Dodgers, both victories for Boston. But make no mistake, that World Series ring does nothing to eliminate Price's reputation as a playoff choker. Even after the 2018 postseason, Price was only 5-9 in the playoffs with a 4.62 ERA, and those are including his performances as a reliever. As a starter, not the guy you want to rely on in a playoff game. Number 8, Dak Prescott. Roger Staubach won 2 Super Bowls with the Dallas Cowboys. Troy Aikman won 3. Both were ultra-clutch quarterbacks. Tony Romo didn't win any with the Cowboys because he wasn't clutch. Dak Prescott hasn't won any yet with the Cowboys because he too isn't all that clutch. The proof is in the pudding. Prescott led the Cowboys to the top record in the NFC during his rookie season, going 13-3, but they lost to a desperate and extremely flawed Green Bay Packers team in the divisional round. Aaron Rodgers outdueled Dak, but the latter would learn from it and grow, right? Not quite. Prescott and the Cowboys regressed in 2017, losing 3 straight games from weeks 10 to 12 to fall to 5-6. They had to win 4 of their final 5 games to salvage a 9-7 season. But Dallas still missed the playoffs, so much for taking the next step. In 2018, Prescott struggled through the first half until the Cowboys traded for Pro Bowl wideout Amari Cooper. Dallas eventually won the division and got past a flawed Seattle Seahawks team in the wildcard round, but Prescott was outdueled by the Rams' Jared Goff in the divisional round. The Cowboys entered 2019 with giant expectations, but after 3-0 and 6-4 starts, Prescott and company unraveled entirely. They dropped 3 straight games from weeks 12 to 14 and lost 17-19 in a Week 16 must-win game against the Philadelphia Eagles, who were completely outmatched in talent due to injuries. The flawed and banged-up Eagles came away with the NFC East crown, not Prescott and the star-studded Cowboys. Dallas had to beat a terrible Washington Redskins team in Week 17 just to avoid a losing record for the year. That's 4 years for Dak Prescott and 1 playoff win. A bunch of squandered opportunities. Will Super Bowl winning head coach Mike McCarthy help Prescott go from regular season stats machine to clutch playoff performer? To be determined, folks. Number 7, Robinson Cano. Robinson has been one of baseball's few elite, game-changing second basemen during the 21st century. He had a strong case for the Baseball Hall of Fame before getting suspended in 2018 for taking peds. The perennial All-Star 2010 and 2012 Gold Glover and 2009 World Series champion with the New York Yankees has always put up fancy stats in the regular season. Through 2019, he recorded a career regular season batting average of .302 with an .843 OPS. When he's healthy, he's usually good for 80-plus RBIs and at least 25 home runs a season. But when October baseball rolls around, the dominant Robinson goes away. He has a brutal career .222 postseason batting average with an OPS of .686. He struck out 28 times while clubbing just 8 dingers and 33 RBIs. 2012 marked Cano's final postseason with the Yankees. He batted, wait for it, .075 in 9 playoff games, 3 hits against 6 strikeouts. In October, he's not somebody you want at the plate for your team with the game on the line. Number 6, Joe Thornton. Jumbo Joe has been one of the most dominant and consistent NHL scorers during the 21st century. Thornton has won practically everything: the scoring title, the Hart Trophy, which is given to the league's most valuable player, and Olympic gold for Canada. The only thing eluding Thornton is a Stanley Cup championship. The San Jose Sharks have been the model of consistency, reaching the postseason in all but 1 year from 2006 to 19. Thornton has played at a near point-per-game pace during his tenure with the Sharks, but when it comes to the postseason, number 19 is often nowhere to be seen. For his career, Thornton only has 133 points in 179 playoff games for the 2018-19 season. His Sharks have continually dominated the regular season, but they've only reached 1 Stanley Cup final. That was in 2016 when they were outmatched and heavily outplayed by the eventual champion Pittsburgh Penguins. Thornton's career regular season shooting percentage has consistently been in the 12 to 15% range. In the playoffs, only 8% in those 179 games. The Hall of Fame certainly awaits Mr. Thornton, but the Hall of All-Time Clutch Performers does not. Number 5, Russell Westbrook. The perennial All-Star point guard is a shoe-in for the Hall of Fame. Westbrook, a 2-time scoring champion who won the 2017 MVP award, has won everything except, an NBA championship. But when it comes to the postseason, Westbrook just isn't money like all the other NBA superstars. We're talking about LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Stephen Curry, the same people we mention every video. But when it comes to the postseason, Westbrook just isn't money like all the other NBA superstars. Westbrook and the Thunder were completely outmatched by LeBron's Miami Heat in the 2012 NBA Finals. 4 years later, the Thunder blew a 3-1 series lead to the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. That paved the way for KD to ruin the NBA by joining the Dubs in the 2016 offseason. Westbrook also wasn't able to win a single playoff series in OKC, despite having Paul George as his right-hand man in 2017-18 and 2018-19. The Thunder eventually gave up and traded Westbrook to the Houston Rockets in a package deal that sent Chris Paul over to OKC. Westbrook just hasn't had that career-defining moment in the postseason like the NBA's other top stars. He has time to rewrite that narrative with James Harden and the Rockets, but the clock is ticking. He only has so many productive years left. Number 4, Cody Bellinger. Let us start out by saying that there is plenty of time for Bellinger to prove us wrong. He's still young and only entering his prime years, but he's been so dominant in the regular season that it's easy to be incredibly let down by his postseason numbers. Bellinger won the 2019 NL MVP award, and he was named the 2018 NLCS MVP after leading the Dodgers to their second straight National League pennant. Through his first 3 MLB seasons, Bellinger had a .278 batting average with a .928 OPS. Look away at the postseason numbers, though. A brutal .178 batting average with a .560 OPS, only 4 homers and 13 RBI against a whopping 52 strikeouts. Bellinger isn't the only Dodgers star who has performed badly in the postseason, but he's supposed to be the heart and soul of the lineup, and he's been anything but in October. Number 3, Sergei Bobrovsky. The Columbus Blue Jackets will probably not regret letting Sergei leave in the 2019 free agency. After a while, they surely came to realize that he wasn't going to take them very far in the playoffs. Sergei won the Vezina Trophy in 2017 and 18, given annually to the NHL's best regular season goalie. During his 7 seasons in Columbus, Sergei compiled a superb .921 save percentage and a remarkable 2.41 goals against average. But in 27 playoff games with Columbus spread through 4 different seasons, a mere .908 save percentage with a putrid 3.03 goals against average, and a lackluster 11-16 record. Bobrovsky is arguably the NHL's best regular season goalie, but he's absolutely one of the worst playoff performers in recent memory. Number 2, Philip Rivers. Yes, football is a team game. Yes, you win and you lose as a team. But folks, how many quarterbacks actually own Super Bowls with worse supporting cast than Philip Rivers? He was traded to a top 5 all-time tight end in Antonio Gates, a Hall of Fame running back in LaDainian Tomlinson, plus other big-time playmaking wideouts like Vince Jackson, Keenan Allen, and Mike Williams. Rivers isn't only a playoff choker because he lacks a Super Bowl ring, it's because he's only taken the Chargers to 1 AFC championship game. He's a porous 5-6 in playoff games throughout his career, with 14 touchdowns against 10 interceptions. Rivers has averaged 260 yards per game in the regular season throughout his career, with a rating of 95.1 in the postseason. He's averaged 241.5 yards per game with an 84.2 rating. So many star-studded teams to work with, 0 Super Bowl appearances, not a single ring. Rivers should be in the Hall of Fame, but he'll never be in the class of true all-time greats unless he retires with at least 1 championship. And number 1, Clayton Kershaw. There's no greater opposite in the sporting world than regular season Clayton Kershaw versus postseason Clayton Kershaw. The two couldn't be any more different. The regular season Kershaw is as dominant as any other pitcher who ever stepped onto the MLB mound. 3 NL Cy Youngs, 5 NL Era titles, a 3-time NL strikeouts and NL wins leader. What more can you ask for? Kershaw could retire now and he'd still be a Hall of Famer in his first year of eligibility. But in the postseason, through 2019, Kershaw had just 9 wins against 11 losses with a porous 4.43 ERA. He blew a save opportunity to the giant underdog Washington Nationals in the decisive 5th game of the 2019 NLCS. The Nats went on to win the World Series. Kershaw lost both starts in the 2018 World Series against the Boston Red Sox, sporting a humiliating 7.36 ERA. We'll excuse him from the 2017 World Series since the Houston Astros were caught stealing signs and cheating after all. How can someone be the best regular season pitcher of their era and yet become such a giant liability in the postseason? It's impossible to understand, and Kershaw has acknowledged his shortcomings in October. Like most others on this list, he's running out of time to change that not clutch narrative. What other active superstar athletes just aren't clutch? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.